into this island, I was equipped with a strong sense of the island from my friend, and with a sense of the adventures that a dog would have on an inhabited island in the Indian Ocean.
All right. So as an illustrator, a lot of times you don't meet the author right off the bat. I guess as I get farther into my career, maybe I'll work with an author a second time or something. We'll have already met that author. But a lot of times you get this manuscript, it's just a typed out Xerox, black and white, you know, just like you get in school, these little assignment. And I read that, you know, Snook alone, this beautifully written. I don't know if anybody's read it yet, but this is it. And it is beautifully written.
It
so descriptive.
Just came out last week.
The 14th, I think, was the release date. So I was excited immediately because and I'm going to tell you about how I was inspired to illustrate this. I just brought a couple little snapshots. I just printed out these little, some old pictures I scanned in. So first of all, I grew up with having dogs, and this, you probably can't see it that well, but this little dog right here, his name is Caesar, and he was an awesome, awesome dog. I mean, everybody can say that about their own dog, but he just had such a personality, and he used to go out on the boat with us all the time fishing, and if we had too many people in the boat, he had to stay on shore, we could watch him barking and running up and down that shore as we got farther and farther away, and we would literally go back, it's like, okay, get it. And he came, so his personality of just hanging out with them, whatever, you know, if we were just taking walks in the woods or down the beach, I've had all those memories of, you know, the dog personality stuff to kind of plug into this Snook, who I've never met, that I felt like I knew already just by reading about him. And so there was like the kind of the dog inspiration. Then I had a lot of excitement in my body and mind about where this was taking place, and this whole island thing. There's a couple reasons. I love fish. I'm a beach bum. I grew up in Cape Cod, and I just spend a lot of time at the beach. I still do. I love surfing, fishing, boating, all that kind of stuff, adventure. And so this whole island thing was like, oh, this is great. I get to draw this cool stuff, this island stuff. And I'm holding up a picture of the United States ship Kitty Hawk. And I was stationed on this ship. I was in the Navy before I started art school. I went to the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. But I wasn't quite ready for school yet. Even though I loved drawing and everything, I just like, I wanted to run my friskies off or whatever it was. So I moved from Cape Cod, went all the way to California. I'm on this ship and we sailed all over the place. I went to Hawaii and Africa and Japan, the Philippines and Australia and Diego Garcia. And it was an unbelievable adventure. And like here's an old picture of me, just a silhouette. I was on Diego Garcia and walking around the tidal pools. Just like, this is all related to the book stuff. It's catching stuff like little octopus and spiny lobsters and all kinds of cool stuff. So after college, this all relates to actually illustrating the book. My dad had been trying to learn how to sail for years growing up on the Cape, breaking his knuckles and knees and just trying to learn how wind goes through sails. And eventually when all us kids, there was 5 of us that got out of school, he saved up his pennies and bought a boat that was worthy of sailing farther than just Cape Cod Bay. He says, would you like to go on a trip? And I said, are you kidding me? I would love to. And he wanted to sail from Florida to Guatemala. And for 5 months, I was on a boat with my dad, and we sailed on a little 30-foot boat from Florida to Guatemala. And it was a trip of a lifetime.
A monk who has himself sailed. He sailed once from southern Africa to Brazil on a sailboat with 4 other people, and he's a man who has adventures. But for me, the book began with the idea that it could teach young people something about what it means to pray. That the Snook belongs to a monk, and so he has spent his whole life following the rhythms of a monk's life, which is a rhythm of work and so that when Snook is left alone on the island, he conducts his work as usual. His work is to catch rats. That's what he does. He's a rat terrier. But the work is punctuated by periods when he sits on the beach and listens to the waves, when the waves become like the sound of his breath. And he sits there longing for his friend. Every time, the book begins by describing the life of Snook with his Abba, what they do every day. And then it describes how they get separated. And this is the beginning of Snook's aloneness. In the morning, there were only faint sips of his friend's scent left for Snook to drink in here and there. He sat on the beach, watching a band of clear sky filled with streaming light. Snook was thirsty. He sniffed past the squealing rats and mice and the nesting birds, quack, quack, as they rose in alarm and formed a black spiral overhead. He followed his nose to a sandy hollow in a circle of velvet-leafed arguesia bushes. There he dug, tentatively at first. Then, as the scent of fresh water grew stronger, he dug furiously, making the sand fly. At last, he lapped sweet water. Then he made his well larger and drank and drank. On his way back down to the beach, he marked many trees. By afternoon, the northwest beach had been scored by dozens of carapaces, the high, dry sand dug up and covered by many graceless flippers. But one last turtle was still digging. Snook lay in the scant shade of a Suriana and watched her labor. Her beak open as if to pant, she dug with one rear flipper and one heeled stump. Her eyes, half closed, streamed tears. She seemed as old as the world. She laid dozens of eggs, covered them with sand, and as dark fell, dragged her weight back to the deep.
Is that like